Welcome back to Student Hub Live, and we have today our Childhood Youth Sport and Education Curriculum Showcase. Now, we're going to focus now on your early childhood qualification and career opportunities. So I'm joined by Jackie, Natalie, Joe and Claire, and I'm going to ask each of you, please, to say something about yourselves to our wonderful audience today. Jackie.
Hello, Karen. I'm Jackie Musgrave, and I'm the Programme Lead for Early Childhood.
Lovely. Thank you, Jackie. Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie Canning. I'm a member of the Early Childhood team and also the area lead for the Professional Doctorate in Childhood and Youth.
Thank you, Natalie. Joe.
Hello everyone, I'm Jo Josephido and I'm a lecturer in early childhood.
Wonderful. And Claire.
Yes, hello everyone. Hi Karen, my name's Claire Saunders and I'm a staff tutor in the School of Early Childhood, particularly working with associate lecturers and supporting students on their qualifications.
Brilliant. Well, wonderful to have you here today. And please do put any questions that you have in the chat to our panel, and Kieran will put them to us at the end of the session. So, Natalie, first, can you give us a bit of an outline about who early childhood modules in particular appeal to?
Yep, so early childhood qualifications are really great qualification. It gives you a good overall introduction to child development, to thinking about children, what they do, what they enjoy doing, how they follow their interests. The first module about play and creativity helps children think about what they're doing while they're playing, and supporting practitioners or anyone that has an interest in early childhood about what children do and how they go about doing it. So the modules are really open to everybody, parents, grandparents, people who are interested in following a career in early childhood, and play is something that's universal. So in that module, you learn about all sorts of things that children enjoy doing and how they follow those interests through. But also, there's a good solid grounding in child development, looking at children's behaviour, looking about children's rights and participation, and how we can, as adults, listen to children as well. It's really important themes going through the whole of the level 1 modules.
That's brilliant. Now, we've got a question for our audience at home. What is your interest in early childhood? So if you could fill in that word cloud, you can put 1, 2 or 3 things in there. We'd also like to know about the different ways to be updated. So which options are you using at the moment, or would you even use also? John Oates came on before Natalie, and he was telling me that the 29th of June is International Mud Day. And so we were talking about some different ideas that we might use with play. And I'm just very mindful of mud play and some of the discussions that we've had in the past, and how you treat play as very much a broad concept as opposed to something very specific, contextualized and perhaps Western. So there are very broad and inclusive themes that span throughout the early childhood modules.
Yes, definitely. In the modules, we have examples from all around the world. Play is a universal concept, so it can happen anywhere, in any environment, in any context. And one of the underlying sort of themes of the modules is that play is something that children want to do. It's a internal motivation for children to want to play and do something. You only have to watch children just on the beach or at a wedding wanting to go under the tables and play underneath the tables rather than be part of what's going on in the main room where all the adults are. So yeah, we introduce lots of ideas from all over the world, and in outdoor play is very significant in some of the Scandinavian countries, but also is a really growing thing over here in this country. So den making is gathering a big following at the moment, things like that. But yes, mud play and mud kitchens are very popular
They look
in
super fun.
nursery
Yeah, no,
settings.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, Natalie, you've got some of the module covers and you've had great fun choosing some of the photos. I wonder if we might be able to show some of these to our audience.
Yep. So
Great.
this is one of the first module books, and here you've got 2 little boys playing in the water tray at a setting. So within the modules, all of the teaching materials are contained within the print materials, but we also then have online activities, which includes lots of really good video. Sorry, I'm trying to turn that around
It's
the
so
right way.
hard when you're back
So,
to front, isn't it? I
yeah, I
can see it.
know.
That way.
So, yeah, so lots of really engaging video within the modules as well. And then we also embed study skills, which are based on the activities that you do within the modules, so that it's all relevant learning. It's not anything abstract. It all relates to children's development and children's play. So yeah, and some really nice examples. In playing the play and creativity module, you actually follow a little boy all the way through. So even if you haven't got vast experience of working with very young children, you can follow him through his different experiences and what he gets up to, and all the different people that he meets. So that's something nice to be able to have a relationship with the videos and the activities.
And lovely to have a case study, as you say, if you don't have access to that yourself. We asked people at home what their interest in early childhood was, and we've had a few responses which have been very interesting. So some people are interested from the perspective of childminder, some are interested in best practice with children, cognitive development, childhood cognition, early teaching, safeguarding. So some very varied ranges of interests here from early childhood. What do you make of that, Natalie?
Yeah, I think that's excellent. It's great to have a range of variety of people that are coming into the early childhood sector. There's so many different opportunities career-wise that you can go into from an early childhood degree. It gives you such a great grounding in understanding the cognitive development of children, the social development, the cultural aspect. We talk about children's rights and thinking about how children participate. So all of those things are really great for careers within things like social work, social care, but also teaching, and going into educational settings. So yeah, that's excellent.
Brilliant. Well, that's wonderful. Now, like most modules, we have some free taster content on OpenLearn, which would be super to do if you're having a little bit of a pause in your studies over the summer months and are interested. So there's a free OpenLearn course which is called Perspectives on Play, and also the Family at the Centre of Early Learning. So we can put the links in the chat so that people can check those out. So Jackie, I wonder if I could ask you about what is unique then about the early childhood modules and the qualification more generally.
Thank you, Karen. I started at the Open University just under 3 years ago, and one of the things that really struck me about the uniqueness of our modules is the quality of the materials and the range of different perspectives of the authors. The teams who wrote the materials all work at the university. And we do actually sometimes ask external consultants to put in their specialisms. And there's a really huge financial investment in making the materials. For instance, as Natalie said, the clips that are included from around the world actually involved crews going out to countries like Denmark and Italy to collect or to shoot the video that we have in E229, which is listening to
Jackie,
children.
can I just ask you, people are asking about the module code. You just mentioned E229, the level 1 module code, so that people can go and find out more.
Right. So E109 is one of the first module that most people study, and that's perspectives on. Help me out here, Natalie. What's the full title? I've got it right here somewhere. No, I've got it. Exploring perspectives on young children's lives and learning. So now you know why we end up using the shorthand of the code. And then Natalie, who's the chair of E110, is young, and that's young children's play and creativity. So they're the first year modules, if you like, although some people will do one module 1 year and then go on to do the following. And then E229, listening to children, critical reflections. So they are our 3 main modules. The other thing that's unique is that we, as a team, all try to put into practice the rights of the child. So, for instance, E229, listening to children, is completely focused on how we listen to children. And of course, it's not just listening with your ears, but watching the child, observing them, and trying to interpret what it is that they are saying to us. The other thing that is uniquely developed in early childhood modules is the strategies that have been embedded to try and maximize our students' success. One of our external examiners said a couple of years ago that being in higher education is sometimes like speaking a different language, because we do use words in a different way, and I'm not excusing or accepting that's the right thing, but it's like any specialism. So we talk about academic literacy and study skills, being analytical, critical, and so on. And I always like boasting about these modules, mainly because I wasn't actually at the Open University when they were written. So I do feel as if I can really blow the trumpet about them. But the activities are embedded so that students can't really avoid engaging with them. But it's these study skills and all of this higher education way of studying and learning that it will help better outcomes and the higher grades, and as well just enjoying and doing the best that they possibly can on the modules. So I think that's really a very highly developed aspect of the uniqueness.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, and very well done, Jackie. I'm always super impressed when people can not only remember the codes, but the module titles, as you say, can get very confusing for us all. People can find out more about the Q89, which is the qualification website. We'll put the link into the chat for early childhood. And that's a really good place as well if you'd like to find out more, because I know some people would like to. So, Jo, I wonder if we might turn to you and focus on what people might do then with an early childhood qualification.
Well, just to pick up on some of the things that Natalie mentioned, for example, it's such a great qualification because it's so broad and it can lead to so many different career possibilities, really. The modules that both Jackie and Natalie have talked about are written by a multidisciplinary team. So people who've got an education background, health background, social work, psychology, play therapy, etc., etc. So the subject knowledge that a student will come away with is broad, and therefore, instead of restricting what they might do, it actually opens lots of different options career-wise.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you very much. And we've already seen the range and scope of things that are interesting our students right now. So we're nearly out of time, and I wondered if we could focus on a topic that we were talking about a little bit earlier, which is some of the other content that people can look at. So we've mentioned some of the free content on OpenLearn, but some students may be interested in picking things up before they start again in September. So what might we recommend students do? And I wonder if, Claire, you can come into the conversation here also. For students who are having a break over the summer and want to keep warm about their studies, what do you think they could do to be up and ready for those, whether they're just starting their OU journey or perhaps are between modules? Claire, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a number of things students can do. Some things that are within the OU and some things external to the OU. So our qualification websites are a great source of information, so you can look much more broadly across the qualification rather than just module by module. And on those websites, you'll find links. We're on Twitter as the Early Childhood team and Facebook. We also have an early childhood blog. So there are lots of internal resources that you can access, which will just keep you up to date. And some of those things, so Twitter and Facebook and the blog, you can respond, so make your own contributions, and that's a great being connected, I think, with the Open University throughout the summer. And you've already mentioned OpenLearn, and some of those courses there are a really great way of keeping your hand in and perhaps learning some new things over the summer. And you know, I don't think anybody can escape the fact that early years and school is all over the news at the moment, and so for been a better time, sadly, to keep up with what's going on in early years, with some of the changes that are coming in, some of the responses to COVID-19 that early years practitioners are dealing with, and all of those kinds of things. Just being aware of those, keeping up to date with them. That gives you quite a lot of rich resources to draw on then when you start your studies come the autumn time. And particularly in E109 and 110, we have a task that we get students to do during induction, which is called the show and tell task. And that's a real opportunity for them to bring their experience from experiences they've had in their family or their work lives that relate to early childhood. So just keeping up to date with things over the summer out there in the media, a really good way of just coming prepared at the start of the module.
Brilliant. We asked people at home in what ways they would or have kept in touch with the Open University. Unsurprisingly, the qualifications website were the most frequented in terms of the responses. So a lot of people engaging with those, but some people looking at the show and tell activities on the early childhood qualification website, some students engaging with Facebook, some on Twitter. Not many people though with your blog. Tell us about the blog then, and why blogging is something that is so great to be involved with from an academic perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the blog is quite new. It's been running for most of this academic year, and members of the early childhood team are contributing to that blog on a fairly regular basis. And again, the link to that is on our qualification website, so that's the way to access it. And I think blogging is a really useful way of sort of bite-sized ideas, really, and being able to formulate. If you read a blog post and you want to say something in response to that, that's just a really nice way of trying out your writing and having a go at writing about something to do with early childhood in a really kind of low threat way. Nobody's going to be judging your response or if you've spelt every word correctly. We're just interested in engaging students in some dialogue, really. So it's a great way just to keep up to date with what we're doing at the OU. So by responding, perhaps just trying out some of your own ideas and getting a little bit of a dialogue going. So yeah, head to that link and have a look and get involved in the conversation. That would be great.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much, all of you. Kieran, how are you doing? How's everyone at home?
Everyone's doing well. A couple of students have mentioned they've studied some of the childhood modules in creative play and have really liked them. And there is a specific question, and one student wants to know: is there any specific extra learning on safeguarding that they could do?
Interesting question. Anyone want to pick up on specific things students could do if they were interested in learning about safeguarding?
Nothing springs to mind. I think there might well be a module that is in production. Is there any way I can let you know about that, Karen?
You certainly can. So the student who's interested in this, if you just drop us an email, studenthub@open.ac.uk, and just clearly title it for us, and then we will give that some consideration and see what we can find out for you. And perhaps if you let us know in particular which aspects of safeguarding you're interested in, we can get back to you on that too. So that'd be lovely. Thank you very much, Jackie. That'd be superb. Well, that's all we've got time for in this session today. But thank you very much, Jackie, Natalie, Joe, and Claire, for giving us a really wonderful insight into what it's all about studying early childhood qualifications and also the career opportunities available. I know this is of interest to a lot of people. So we're now going to play a video, which is another of our campus tours. This one is about the landing lights. And then we're coming back to look at personal development planning and peer-to-peer coaching. So pretty much something in there for most students. We'll see you in just a moment to discuss that further.